Hey Ryan, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to look at how to download Python for a Windows machine. So let's get started. Now, there are a couple different ways that you can go about downloading Python. One of the more common ways is just to go to the Python Foundation's website, python.org. Once you're here, you can go to download. If you want to download it on Windows, they often have the two newer releases here. This is Python 3.6 versus Python 2.7. They have slightly different functions. Another way you can go to download Python is go to all of the releases and you'd see the different release versions here. Now, kind of my natural preference is to actually download a distribution of Python with the different packages and libraries that would commonly be used. So things like NumPy or Pandas, or some of the other tools that we'll be using through kind of this exploration of Python. So in order to do that, you can use a firm called Enthought. They have a distribution called Canopy. Canopy is free for most users, so you would go to download Canopy and then you would choose what version you want. Either you're going to do it on Linux, Mac, or Windows. Then you're going to want to think about what operating system you have. So on a Windows machine, you can type the Windows key and then you can type in something like computer. You go to this PC, and then if you right click and you go to properties, it will show that here I'm using a 64-bit operating system as opposed to a 32-bit operating system. So I would want one of these two. Again, it would depend if I want Python 2.7 or Python 3 or 3.5 is the current release. So in this course, we're going to focus primarily on Python 3 or 3.5, 3.6. Kind of that's the newest library and the one that I think a lot of employers are using. So we would do that. So you would just go here to download and it would start downloading. But instead, the way that I kind of grew up learning Python was actually using a distribution by a company called Anaconda Inc. So Anaconda is another distribution of Python. I believe it's the more popular one, depending on how you calculate it. So you would go to anaconda.com and then you can go to products, Anaconda Distribution. It kind of tells you a little bit about what they have, 6 million users. Here are the data science libraries. You'd notice that if you went back to Enthought and you were to look at their products, Canopy, a lot of the libraries that you see here in Canopy are also available in Anaconda. And so it probably doesn't matter which one you download, but in order to follow along in the kind of videos that we're doing in this series, you might want to think about downloading Anaconda. So we will go here and let's go click the download button. Now, if we're doing it on Windows, again, 3.6 or 2.7 are the more recent versions at the time of this recording. We're gonna hit, you can do the graphic installer, or for 32-bit or 64-bit, we'll do this one. We'll hit no thanks. It's actually a relatively large file to download, so we may fast forward this video so that you don't have to watch us download it. But after we download, we'll come back to the video and get started. All right, once it's downloaded, you can go here to the exe file. You can hit open and it should pop up. Your computer might be faster than mine, who knows. Anyway, it says welcome to the Anaconda 64-bit setup. We're gonna hit next. There's a little user or license agreement. You probably should read this. I totally did myself when I first downloaded it. This kind of depends. We're gonna say just me. There's no other users. We will install it here and we'll hit next. Now, this is kind of a question of whether or not you want to be able to access Python from using the command line. If you do indeed want to use the command prompt in order, you're going to want to click this box. Obviously, it says not recommended, but we're going to do that anyway because we're baller and we want to be able to automatically run scripts from the command line. So this is a pretty useful tool to do that. There's a couple other ways that we can add a path variable later. in this video series, but for now, I just recommend that you consider checking this box. So I'm gonna, again, keep this checkbox here, and we will kind of have this be our default program. We're gonna hit install, and we're going to patiently wait together while this installs on our computer. Again, I think I'm gonna fast forward this part so that you don't have to watch a very slow and painful process. Yeah, so I'll check back in a minute or so, and we can keep moving forward. All right, so now that it has completed installing, we can go ahead and click the next button here. And you get to kind of decide whether or not you want Microsoft Virtual Visual Studio. I really don't care about that, so I'm gonna skip. We can choose to uncheck some of these boxes. I don't really want to know about the cloud or learn how to get started, but you can select either of those two boxes if you so choose to. So we'll go to finish, and now Python should be installed in our computer. So the way that we can do that is by hitting the Windows key and the letter R for run, and then we'll type in CMD for open up the command prompt. Another way that you could do that is hit the Windows key and then just start typing in command prompt and opening it that way. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger. So let's, oops, I guess that won't work. We can go to, close this. We can go to properties. Let's make it large and font. Let's make it 28. All right, that should be a little bit larger. So the way that we can see whether or not Python is installed is we can just type Python, and it will show what distribution of Python you have there. And then you can type the words quit. So what we can do is we can type IDLE, open up idle, and then we can do various functions. So we could do something like 9 times 9 is equal to 81, or we could do a print statement. We could do print hello there, and then it will print that out. All right, so we have Python downloaded on our Windows machine. In our next video, we can go ahead and start playing around with Python. So anyway, if you have questions, go ahead and post them in the comment section below. Otherwise, Ryan, I will see you again next time. Cheers.